Hi, I'm Luce. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my June TBR. Now, because June is Pride Month, I did want to make my TBR entirely queer books. I have done this in the past a couple years ago, and I really enjoy kind of like pushing myself to make sure that I'm only reading queer books, because I do read a lot of queer books in general, because, you know, I myself am a queer lady. But yeah, for June, I really wanted to just commit to making sure that I am only reading queer books. I have collected, I would argue, maybe too many books as potential options. I definitely don't think I'm going to be getting through all of these books, but these are all, when I was looking at my shelves, these are all the ones that I am the most excited to read. So yeah, without any further ado, I will just get into all of the books. Okay, so first I'm going to go through all of the contemporary romances that I have on my TBR for June. So the first one is one that I've been meaning to read for ages. I even asked my friend in the US to get me the US edition because I was like, I really wanted that one. But it is Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. This one is a contemporary romance set on, I believe it is a food show, kind of like reality, maybe competition show. Following one of our main characters, Delilah, who is recently divorced, has quit her job and is seemingly kind of like going all in on trying to be a chef, and she ends up on this show. We have our other main character, London, who has just come out as non-binary, and they are competing on this show, partly to get a chef title, but also to raise awareness and raise money for the queer community. This is one that I think I'm just going to really enjoy because I love food, I love competition type shows, and I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think that I've read a romance with a non-binary main character. I've read other books like fantasies and stuff with non-binary characters, but I don't think I've read a romance. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to this one. Then I have one that I'm actually mad that I haven't read until now because I love the first book so much, but it is Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care last year and loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the year, and I have the whole trilogy. So I don't know why I haven't got around to this one yet, but this one follows Astrid and who's our other girly? So this follows our two main characters, Astrid and Jordan, who I believe are working together on some kind of home renovation program. And I think that they kind of get off on the wrong foot, but then they end up in a relationship, and I think they have to hide it from the cameras. And we got introduced to Astrid in Delilah's book, and she in that book was in an engagement with this really weird, gross, toxic man. So she's kind of coming out of that, and I think, you know, I think this is going to be a book about kind of like figuring out your sexuality, and I'm just really excited because I love Delilah so much. I am just so excited to get to this one. Then we have one that I have actually technically already started, but I did put it down earlier in the year, but that is Pucking Sweet by Emily Rath. This is the third book in the Jacksonville Rays series. I have talked about this series, and I think this book in particular, quite a few times, but I love the Jacksonville Rays series. It's one of my favorite contemporary romance series, and the fourth book I believe is coming out very soon. I don't know if it's June or July. I really want to get this one read so that I can read the fourth one kind of when it comes out. But this is an ice hockey romance series. It is an MMF. It is following Poppy, who is I think she's like the relations manager of this ice hockey team, and then two of the players. I just know I'm gonna love this. Even from the bits that I read earlier in the year, I was loving it. I just wasn't in the mood for contemporary romance. That's why I put it down. So I've been dying to get back into this one. And then the last contemporary romance I have is one from my top books to read this year, and that is Tryst Six Venom by Penelope Douglas. I love Penelope Douglas. I've read, I think, 4 of their books now. I read the first 3 books in the Devil's Night series, and then I've read Birthday Girl, but this is their sapphic bully romance, and that's literally all I know, is that it's a sapphic bully romance, and that was kind of all I needed to know to pick it up. But yeah, I'm just really intrigued to read this one. It is really long as well. Like, for contemporary romance, this is almost 600 pages, so I'm kind of intrigued why it's that long. But yeah, just based on the fact that I have loved Penelope Douglas books in the past, I think this one's probably going to be a hit for me. Okay, before I get into the fantasy, which is quite a lot of this TBR, I have one random non-romance, non-fantasy, but it is The Golden Ratio by Cole McCade. I have also spoken about this series a couple of times. It is the first book in the second arc of the Criminal Intentions series. It is following 2 detectives at the Baltimore Police Department. This does kind of follow the Crime of the Week type of formula, where every book we have a specific crime that we're solving, but there is also a through line of a bigger plot running throughout it. And the way that the first arc of this ended had me just so intrigued, and I am also so attached to these characters. I love the romance in this series. The side characters are absolutely phenomenal. So this is one that I've taken quite a long break from this series because when I read the first part, it completely consumed my life. Like, I binged that series. I was obsessed with it. It was everything. So I think I needed a little bit of a break. But we might be going back into obsession territory when I read this one. Okay, and then onto fantasy. I will go through my 2 rereads first. So the first one, we have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I have been fiending for a reread of The Mortal Instruments recently. June, in theory, should be kind of the start of summer, and I associate this series specifically so strongly with summer. So I want to reread it so bad. This is like my favorite series of all time. Objectively, it's kind of terrible. I love it with all my heart. I have absolutely tabbed the shit out of this copy. So yeah, I think now is the perfect time to reread this. And then one that I actually had on my May TBR as a potential, but I haven't got to, is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. This is the second book in the Simon Snow trilogy. I reread Carry On in May, actually. I finished it in May. And I haven't had time to carry on with the series, and I really want to reread them because I have reread this book I think 3 times. I've only read the third one once. And again, another of my favorite series. This is in my god tier books. So yeah, I really want to read it. And again, another series that I associate very strongly with reading in the summer. I lied. I actually have one more reread, which I completely forgot about, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Again, god tier book series associate with summer. Haven't read this series, I think, in about 2 years. I think was the last time I reread a book in this series. This is the Really Pretty Fairy Loot edition, but I love this series so much. And like I said, this to me is summer. That's what I associate this series with. And I miss these characters. Like, the main draw for me with this series is the characters, and I truly miss them. So I have to reread this one, I have to. Okay, and then the books that aren't rereads. So the first one that I have here is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This is a book that I've been meaning to read for years. I have the entire trilogy, I have all 3 books, and I still haven't got around to it. I don't really actually know too much about this at this point. I did when it came out. At this point, couldn't really tell you. It says, one is a vengeful princess seeking to depose her brother from his throne. The other is a priestess searching for her family. Together they will change the fate of an empire. I've heard phenomenal things about this series, and Tasha Suri is a writer. I know she has another series. I don't know how many books it is, but I am interested in reading that one as well. But yeah, I thought that this was finally the time that I should get round to this one. Then I have Prince of the Sorrows by Kellen Graves. This one is another one that I, at this point in time, could not tell you what it's about. I know it's to do with Fae. I believe it is in some way an academia, and it's queer, and the cover is stunning. I picked this book up purely because I love the cover, and it has been languishing on my shelf for years, so I thought now would be a good time to finally read it and see if the inside matches the outside. Then I have one that I meant to read earlier this year, I just never got round to. It is a sequel, and it is A Cruel and Fated Light by Ashley Shuttleworth. This is the second book in the Dark and Hollow Star saga, I think it is. This one is a YA urban fantasy. It has a little bit of Shadowhunter energy, and I really, really loved the first book. I read it at the end of last year. And yeah, I'm really intrigued to get into this one. I have been missing reading YA fantasy at the moment, so I think this is really going to fulfill my need for like a really good, really fun YA fantasy. And then the last 2 books I have are the final 2 books in a series. We have Heaven Official's Blessing, Volume 7 and 8 by Mojang Tongju. I've spoken about this series a lot as well. It is another of my favorites, and I only have 2 volumes left to go until I am finally finished with it. And these 2 are both quite short, actually, comparative to the rest of the series, so I think that I should have no problem reading both of these. This is a historical Chinese fantasy. It is a boys' love following a god and a ghost king, and I love it with my entire being. This series truly has taken over my brain. It has taken over my entire mind. It is all I think about at the moment. And while I'm going to be really, really sad that it's going to be finished, I also cannot wait to see what the conclusion is of this. And I also know that this author has a few other series that I can get into. Listen, I'm going on a tangent here, but I am on Danmei TikTok right now, and the amount of Danmei series that are out there that sound so cool and that are coming out now, like there's so many like new licenses that are being acquired. I'm so excited to like fully dive into the Danmei genre once I am finally done with this series. But yes, that is my June TBR. I definitely have overestimated, I think, how much I'm going to read, but I'm really excited for every single book that I have put on my TBR. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you in a new video again soon. Bye!